Welcome back everybody to Sneakers, Stocks, and MTG, the channel where we talk about my two favorite investment, hobby, and collectible, sneakers and Magic the Gathering. My name is Peter, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about forgotten or overlooked sneakers, Magic the Gathering sealed product, and cards that we should be buying and holding so that we can make the same type of profit that we would on hype sneakers that come out every week or hype Magic the Gathering product that come out every 1 to 2 months. So, without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's talk about Magic the Gathering. Everyone in the community right now is focused on one set and one set only. Double Masters. Here or here, somewhere. So Double Masters is a set that is very, very different from what Wizards of the Coast has done before. Number one, they're putting double the amount, so 2, either mythic or rare cards into that slot in a booster pack. They're also doubling the amount of foils that also go into the same booster pack. So that's absolutely crazy. You're getting double the value in that. Hence why the booster box is, $250, $300 plus dollars in price right now, just for people to buy. The next thing is Wizards has created a product called the VIP Booster Pack. Crazy. VIP Booster Pack is somewhere between $80 and $120 depending on where you buy it. And in that pack, everything is foil. You get alternate art or box topper art or extended showcase type cards that are crazy value. All the cards in there are should be good value if you're going to be spending $80, $120 on it. And also the set itself is crazy. You have Force of Will, you have Mana Crypt, Sword of Fire and Ice, you have all of these crazy mythic rare cards. The uncommon slot is crazy as well. Tons of playables, tons of cards that are going to only go up in value once they hit their bottom with all the packs being released, right? So a lot of high value cards that are in here. It's a crazy, crazy set. Everyone should be hyped about it. Everyone should be talking about it. If you look on the Facebook marketplaces, you look on Reddit, you listen to the YouTubers, everyone's talking about Double Masters that just came out. Everyone's focused on that, and they're probably going to continue to be focused on that for the next few weeks or so until spoilers and leaks start to come out for the next set, which is Zendikar Rising. Where should we be focused on? What are things that we should be looking at instead? Well, all eyes are over there on Double Masters. So one of the things that I've been looking at right now are sets that are going to be rotating out when Zendikar Rising hits shelves, right? And also looking at things that are possibly going to support playable cards, right? If you're a little bit more advanced, themes that may come out of Zendikar. First, let's look at sealed boxes, right? So sealed boxes, I'm looking at War of the Spark. War of the Spark is very, very special because it has 36 planeswalkers in it. You are guaranteed a planeswalker in every pack. The EV, when it first came out of the box, was really high. It was opened a lot. There's a lot of different cards in there that have the potential to go up in value. When the box rotates out, it's not going to be played as much. Sealed stuff, I think, less and less of it's going to get opened because there's one less type of play that you could play in, right? And the cards are very reasonably priced right now. The only way this set can go is up. And so if it's only going to go up, if you can get a price point and buy in at $80, $85, $90, $95 there, a year or two, once the set ages a little bit, once this booster box ages a little bit, you could see it around $150, something like that. And it's only gonna, it might get static at that point, but it's not gonna go down. It's gonna stay static, and then at some point it's gonna go up again. That's what happens with booster boxes, right? They age very, very well. The reason why is because there's less and less of them. Collectors want them, players want them to break open and draft, right? And so as it ages and there are less and less and people start to forget about them, there's more of an opportunity to make money and for the evaluation to go up. And also a lot of these cards are the first print of a lot of these cards, right? And so if folks want the first print, this is the booster box to be able to get them in. And then as it rotates out and as there's less and less, I'm also looking at the Throne of Eldraine. Throne of Eldraine has a lot of cool cards that are creature and sorcery instant type cards that are in there, which is very special for that set. It's the first time they've done something like that. So that is something that I will also be looking to get into and put some money into as well. And again, same price point, $80, $85, $90 price point, and looking to probably exit out of, or exit some of it around $150 or so. Then we look at cards, individual cards, and it's the same. You look at cards that rotate out, but you also want to look at cards that have been reprinted recently. So if you go into Core 2021, there were 2 reprints of cards that I'm looking at a lot, which is Azusa, and Ugin. Both are cards that were first printed for Azusa in Champions of Kamigawa, and then for Ugin in Fate Reforged. And you'll see on the chart, and hopefully I'll have a chart up from MTG stocks, when a card gets reprinted, it'll go down. But then after a while, it'll go back up. Then it'll get reprinted again, and then it'll go down, right? These cards we know will get reprinted. That doesn't mean they're not a good investment. You just need to be able to get it at its bottom. And figuring out when the bottom is key. It's figuring out when folks have finished opening cards, and then when the next set has come out and all eyes are on the next set, and then you see these cards at a quote-unquote bottom. Right now, for example, Azusa, you can buy for $10 on Card Kingdom. You can also probably get it cheaper from an individual seller on, in a Facebook group or something like that. I mean, price memory tells you that it's not going to be that price until it gets reprinted again, right? So there is an entry point, and then most importantly, there is an exit point. So if you're going in for the 2021 version at about $8, $7, I mean, it's not an $8, $7 card. So do you want to put it in? You want to get it in at that point and then let go of it at $15, $20? I mean, that's really good. I feel like you have like 4 or 5 copies and then you let them go. And this is like, I'm talking, you're able to move them very quickly. These cards, you should be able to move very quickly. And if not, you can buy list them, right? And it's a small investment. You put in, $40, you move them for, $100 or whatever, or less, and maybe $80. I mean, that's double your money, right? I mean, you're looking at the percentage of growth from when you purchase to when you release. And then you also want to look at cards that have, again, and this is more advanced, right? For folks who play a little bit, also, do a little bit more research. You look at Zendikar Rising coming out, and the whole landfall mechanic for Zendikar is very important. So if landfall comes back, Azusa is going to be important because it allows you to play an extra land, right, as a card. But then you look at like Crucible Worlds from M19, $20 right now. And then you look at Scapeshift, really cheap right now as well, like $10, something like that. I mean, these cards, if you look at the original print, it's been a long time. They've gotten reprinted, right? With this type of stuff, like, they're gonna go back up. There needs to be a synergy there for some of these cards and a length of time. Most cards, it's length of time because the cards get played. So it's length of time. But for something like Scapeshift or Azusa or Crucible Worlds, if the landfall mechanic comes back, or if some land mechanic comes back and there is a synergy there for the set, you might see it in Pioneer or whatever format you can play in. You'll see a jump in price because people are making decks and putting things together. So if you have that advanced knowledge, think about stuff like that. Do that type of research, and then put a couple of dollars in there and see what happens. I'm not telling you to put like $1,000 into one card, right? But a couple bucks just to see what happens, right? Like I said in my last video, it's one thing to theorize, right, without having any money in it and saying, yeah, I could have made some money off that if I did that, so I was right. Well, you didn't technically do it, right? So putting a little bit of money puts some type of accountability on you to be able to say, oh, it worked, or oh, it didn't work. And then there's the learning lesson if it did or if it didn't. Those, I would say, are the things that I'm currently looking at to purchase or to get into and hold a little bit and see what happens. Next, we're going to talk about sneakers. And sneakers, there is a lot of opportunity. I took out a couple that I have sort of researched and done while everyone's looking at everything else. And I know there are YouTubers that have already talked about this, but I was you know, I'd like to say that I was already doing it before they were talking about it. Let's take a look. We have 2 pairs of Black Toe Chicago Jordan 1 mids. Right, I have a 7 and a 6.5. I also have a couple of other pairs of 7s and 6.5. I only have GS sizes. And these were not hard to get at all. I got them, I think, Foot Locker and other foot sites and Nike.com. They were just sitting there. And so I was like, I mean, look at them. They look nice, right? But again, there's this, you know, it's definitely an overlooked sneaker because it's a mid. People don't like mids, so then there's just this, we don't like mids, it doesn't matter what color comes out, we're not going to purchase it. There's no hype, the bots don't go after it, they just sit there. So I bought them. I bought a few pairs and did the experiment and said to myself, you know, we'll see what happens, right? And the worst that can happen is I sell them and I get my money back, right? But hey, it was a good experiment to try. It keeps me to sort of follow the market with it instead of just theorizing and then looking back on it later. This gives me a little bit of accountability when I purchase it, and I'm just able to look at it and see what happens. These were $90. And as you know, for Jordan 1s, GS sizes do really, really well. And so I was like, I'm gonna go for 6.5s, 5.5s. And so now, here I am with $90 retail sneakers that are reselling on StockX for $150. Crazy, right? I think that these, if you look at other GS sizes of other Jordan mids, say, you know, the Pine Green mid one, I mean, you look at some of these are in the 300s. These, you know, 200-300. Yeah, these are the types of things that you want to look for, that are overlooked sneakers that are readily available. When I say readily available, I don't mean like you can just go on a site and it's there, right? But like do a little bit of research, dig a little bit, and you'll find them, right? I mean, you're not going to find them anymore now, but there are sneakers out there right now that are available that you can purchase. Jordan 1 lows are sneakers that you should be looking at. Whatever's out there, take a look at them. All the lows and all the mids. Look at them, do your research. The key is to look at sneakers in the past and see how long it takes for it to get to a certain price point that you would like to sell it at. Like look at a Jordan 1 mid, for example. Look at any color, any colorway. If you're buying in at 125 or you're buying in, you know, for a GS size at like 90 or whatever, what's the price you want to sell them at? And will that sneaker, do you see that sneaker selling at that 9 months from now or a year from now? If you don't, that's okay. Don't invest in it, right? Jordan 1 low, same thing. What's the price point you're comfortable with moving at, right? If you were able to buy a Jordan 1 low at $90 and then sell it at $200, or let's say $190, right? You get $100, right? If you buy a Jordan 1 for $170 and sell it for $270, you're like, damn, if you buy a Jordan 1 at $170 and you sell it for $250, $80, aren't you happy? Right? If you buy a Jordan 1 low and you're able to sell it for $170, $80, aren't you happy? If you're able to make the same profit, why not put the money in that sneaker? I'm making the same profit that I am on these as to some Jordan 1s that I'm trying to fight botters for, right? It's the same thing. So, look at sneakers that are overlooked, do your research, look at similar sneakers that are similar colorway and see how long it takes. Figure out what your price point is that you want to exit at and see if it's possible for that sneaker to exit at that price point. If it's not, move on, look at the next one. If it is, buy a pair. You aren't necessarily looking for deals, you're just looking for sneakers that have been overlooked and are still retail. And retail is okay, right? Retail is okay because if you can look at a sneaker and know what your exit point is and it meets your expectation, why not take a risk and go purchase it? It's the same with cards too. If it's low enough and it's a minimal risk and you can exit at the same price and learn something, or you can exit a little bit higher price and learn something, great. But the whole point of it, especially for me with sneakers, is really learning and figuring out what it is. And I feel like if I don't put money into it, I'm not wholeheartedly holding myself accountable and learning, right? Like I said, If you just say it and it's like, oh, I went up, whatever. It doesn't, those are just words, right? You're putting your money where your mouth is and doing it. And this is a success, which I'm really, really happy about. And again, in the future, I'm going to look for similar ones like this. There's a Chicago 2021 that looks a little bit like this, but not, that also everyone jumped on because they couldn't get these, right? And so people learned. And so you need to figure out what the next Chicago Black Toe Jordan 1 mid is. Thanks everybody for checking out my video today. If you liked the video, please click the like button. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe. Invest wisely, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.